Inspirators. Good to be back with you all. It's great to be back with you all because I miss y'all. I miss y'all. Y'all miss them cakes? Okay, I got one coming for you. I got that end of the year cake for you. I got that good old chocolate mousse cake for you. Got that almond mousse chocolate cake. Let's go on in there and take that stroll, okay, on that cake. Now, this is a tough one this time, y'all. This is a kind of challenge. This cake is a kind of like a challenge. So let's go on and get started on this cake. Come on, y'all. Come on, let's do this end of the year thing. Okay, let's go with our all-purpose flour. We have a cup and 3/4 of all-purpose flour. Then we're going to come with 3/4 cups of Hershey's cocoa powder. This is dark chocolate. And also we have a teaspoon of coffee, a teaspoon and a half of baking powder, and a teaspoon and a half of baking soda. Let's get those ingredients in there. Then we're going to come with our sugar. We have a cup of brown sugar, and we also have 3/4 cup of white sugar. Okay, we're going to whisk them all together, y'all. We're going to whisk them together. Combine all these dry ingredients. I really miss coming with the recipes, y'all. I really do. But the month of December has been kind of hectic for me. For the ones that is familiar with my mother passing away, it has been kind of like a setback for me with my videos. So, but we are going to get back. We're going to get back in the swing of things. Okay, we're going to combine it up real well. Okay, let's make sure we kind of press some of those lumps out of there, but it doesn't exactly have to be as a smooth mix, so don't really worry yourself when it comes to those lumps. They are all gonna pan out in the end. But I'm just giving it a little bit of help. Just a little bit. Okay, then we're going to come with eggs. I'm going to place them to the side for a minute. We're going to go ahead and do our melted butter into the mix. We're going to put that melted butter in there, 3/4 cup of melted salted butter. That is a stick and a half for the people that are not familiar, that are using sticks of butter. We're going to combine all of it together. Then we're going to go right ahead and add our 3 eggs in. 3 large eggs. I hope you all are trying to get ready for that new year that's about to come in. And I know we all hope we have a prosperous new year. Now this looks like a brownie mix. This is really a brownie mix. This would be brownies if it wasn't for the other ingredients. The last ingredient that I'm about to add. And as you notice, I am not placing any flavor into our mix because we're going to let our chocolate cake stand alone on this cake. Now I have a cup of boiling hot water. I'm going to place a portion of it in there and I'm going to mix it. I'm going to add the remaining of it. Once again, this is a cup of hot water. Okay, we got our mix, all our mix together. We got it all together. I'm going to go ahead and clean my surface. You ain't making a mess, you ain't doing nothing. Ain't that the phrase that pays? Okay, we have our pans here. We're going to make a 3-layer cake. So my pans are already sprayed down with Baker's Joy. And the people that don't know about Baker's Joy, that is a oil of a baking oil in a can. Okay, now I'm straining it as well to kind of make sure we have a smooth cake. Because sometimes those chocolate lumps can really kind of stay in the mix no matter how well you mix it. But this is not really mandatory that I strain it. But I prefer to have a smoother cake. So this is the way I choose to pour my cakes in the pan through my straining process. And we're gonna put these cakes in the oven at the temperature of 350, and we're gonna have them in there about 30 to 35 minutes because it does not take these cakes long to bake. The minute you smell them, they are about to be ready, you all. They are about to be ready the minute you smell them. But please do the toothpick thing. That works too. Insert that toothpick in there, and that's going to determine whether they're ready or not. If it comes out clear, it's ready. If it doesn't, place it back in the oven for about another 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, because it do not take long. Okay, while we have those in the oven, we're going to start on our chocolate mousse. And so far I have a cup of heavy whipping cream. And then I also have a half cup of milk chocolate Hershey's chocolate chips. Now the heat kind of melted these chocolate chips, so it's not going to hurt anything. Okay, we're going to come with 3/4, that's not 3/4, a half cup of Hershey's cocoa powder. And we're going to combine all of it together. And by the way, we have our oven set from low to medium heat. And then we're going to come with a can of condensed milk and add into the mix. And we're going to keep our stir going as soon as we mix all of them together. We're going to keep that stir going. And be very attentive, you all. I'm going to tell you, be very attentive of this because you know how chocolate is. Gonna keep your stir going when we're making this mousse. And you do not have to just long as everything melt and combine together, you do not have to constantly heat it up after everything has combined together and melted. It doesn't have to be steaming hot. Just make sure it stays at a medium warm. And then you're going to take it off the oven and let it cool. We're going to do that next. Once everything combined together in this mix. Okay, while we're waiting for the heat to stir up, I have a hot bowl of water. It's 3/4 of bowl of water. And I'm placing 2 packages of gelatin, unflavored gelatin, into this hot water. I'm doing a little multitasking here, so kind of bear with me on this. You can do this separately. You do not have to worry about doing it while you heating up your chocolate. And I may have to place it back into the microwave to melt it for about 10 seconds to melt that gelatin more. Okay, we're going to place it in the microwave to kind of melt it a little bit more because obviously the water was not hot enough to absorb the gelatin. So we're going to do about 10 more seconds of microwave. And then we're going to take that gelatin out and we're going to let it cool, okay? That's what we're going to do. But by the way, in the meantime, we are going to be stirring our chocolate mousse. And we're going to move on over here and continue on our mousse. Here, y'all see I got old Big Mama here. I got Big Mama right here. We're going to let Big Mama help us out with our mousse. Big Mama never fails me. So we're going to do the continuation over on this side. This mousse requires a lot of heavy whipping cream, you guys. And by the way, I have 3 cups. I have 2 in this cup, but I will be placing another cup of heavy whipping cream into our mix as well. Yes, this requires 3 cups of heavy whipping cream for our mousse. And don't forget the cup that we used for the chocolate on the stovetop. Okay, let's roll with Big Mama here. Let's go on the road with her. Let's get started here. Okay, I'm gonna also be putting 2 cups of powdered sugar into this mix. A lot of this you will not see, but I will be mentioning it to you. Okay, 2 cups of powdered sugar is gonna help sweeten and thicken up our heavy whipping cream. The heavy whipping cream. Gonna add it all in there. And by the way, I placed a little bit of chocolate. Make sure your chocolate has cooled completely before placing it into your bowl. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and place the remaining of our chocolate into it. And we're going to let Big Mama do the work. Okay, then here we're going to come with our next step. We're going to place this gelatin. It's cooled down too. Make sure it has cooled all the way down, but not gelled back up, because it will gel back up on you if you let it get too cool. But you can warm it up again, and you have to also let it cool to a liquid. But yeah, we're going to place that gelatin in there. And then after that, our next step going to be our vanilla flavor, which is going to be a teaspoon of that. And this is where the flavor come in on this cake, because our chocolate cake is flavored within itself. So we're going to place our flavor in our mousse. And we're going to put a teaspoon of almond extract into our mousse mix. As y'all can see here, my cake is rugged. And yes, it was so delicate that I had a time getting this cake out of the pan. It was so delicate. So, but we're going to make it work. We're going to make it work anyway, y'all. Ain't we going to do that? Okay, we're going to come with this mousse. Now, if this mousse has this texture, your mousse is ready. If it's too soupy, you're going to have to do a little bit more beating. But what you also can do, if it's too soupy, okay, I'm placing this into a springform pan, y'all. And I've lined out this springform pan with plastic wrap on the bottom of the springform pan. But if your mousse isn't like this, just partially loose, then I would advise you to just add like a teaspoon of cream of tartar into it, and it will help firm up your mousse. Yes, you have to let your mousse kind of mold. That's the thing about mousse. You have to let it mold and chill in the fridge in order for it to mold. But you have to do it after you place it on your cake. You have to let it mold on your cake. Okay, we're going to take our little raggedy, moist, but delicious looking chocolate cake. And we're going to place it in this pan. And make sure your springform pan is bigger than your cake. so that your mousse can form all around your cake. Okay, here we go. We're going to have to make it work. Let's make it work, y'all. Let's make it work. Place those crumbs all in the center there. All right, now we ready to work. Now we ready to work. Now we cooking now, y'all. Let's not be afraid. This was one of my tasks that I was telling y'all about, the challenge thing. But make sure that cake is dead in the center so that your mousse can form on the side. This is what I was saying. This is what I meant when I meant challenge. It's been a while since I made any cake that consists of mousse. So that's another reason. And then I didn't make, the first time I made it, I didn't make it this way. I made it the two-step way. Yeah, I know about that Cool Whip with that chocolate pudding. Yeah, I know about that kind of mousse. With that Jell-O pudding. Okay, we're going to fill in with that mousse, and then we're going to come with our second layer. And if your cake turned out to be, which I doubt it, has a, what do they call it? A pregnant cake? If your cake has a, I forgot what they call it, y'all. Just cut it off until it's flattened. I forgot what they call it. Okay. I'm just going to say pregnant cake. Just cut that belly off that cake. All right, you're going to spread it around there. If you like your layers thick in the middle, add a little bit more in there if you want to. You like that mousse thick in the middle of those layers, just add more. All right, we got our layers laid in there. And what I did is wrap this pan, and I did a overnight freeze, you guys. I wrapped it with saran wrap. So this is really the next day, y'all. we let this cake stay I let it stay in the top of my fridge overnight. And then I got it out in the morning, and I let it set for a little while. And this is the after effects. And in the process of doing so, I transferred this cake over to my daughter's house, because that is where I'm at now. Okay, we're going to go ahead, and here come the scary part, y'all. I'm going to unbuckle the spring form. I better not try that. I don't think I'm going to try that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go get us this butter knife, and we're going to make sure this thing work out. We're going to get this butter knife. When you're placing that butter knife in there, press that butter knife against the spring form pan. Do not press it against your cake as you go around to try to get your cake out. Okay, now let's try it. Y'all see, this is a nervous moment right here. All right, here we are. Not so bad, not so bad. Not so bad. Okay, here it come again, y'all. Scare tactic. Flip. Not so bad. Okay, gonna ease our pan off. And see, it pretty much molded pretty well around there. And areas you can also, fix the areas like you see the cake showing through that, a cake crumb. But I'm going to let my imperfections show today, okay? I'm not perfect. We are not perfect. I'm going to let it show. I'm going to leave that right there. I'm not covering nothing up. We're going to add our almonds, sliced almonds on top of this cake. And we're going to make it work. Got to make it work. Now press it in a little bit so those almonds can stay on that cake. Those almonds ain't going nowhere. All right, time for the plunge, y'all. Let's go for the plunge. Here we go. Here come that moment. And I'm going to get me a big old piece of this cake. I'm going to get me a big old sinful piece of cake. Look at that. We're going to get a big old sinful piece of this cake. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Ooh, look at there, y'all. Look. Look at that. Ooh, a sin. Ooh, this cake's so sinful. They should have named this cake Sinful. Yeah, I'm going to give y'all a closer look. Let me give y'all a closer look. Just a little bit closer. A little bit closer. All right. A sin. Welcome to this SINFUL Almond Mousse chocolate cake. And of course, I'm going to have to give y'all that taste of the day. I'm going to give y'all that taste of the day. Let's do that. That's the least I can do. The year is about to get on up out of here, and a new one is about to start. And let's renew it with this here big old piece of almond chocolate mousse cake. All right, y'all. It is great. But once again, make sure y'all make this cake. Once again, I want to thank y'all for taking that stroll just to see how everything goes when living with V.